30th. Applications are being accepted after that date, but on a space available basis. The event is set to be held Sunday, May 31st through Saturday, June 6th at Kansas State University in Manhattan. To keep up to date with all the local news, go check out our website at nwksradio.net.
Today will be sunny with breezy southwest winds at 15 to 25, gusting to 35 miles per hour, and highs in the 80s. The dry air combined with the wind will have red flag warning in place for the entire tri-state area this afternoon and evening. Tonight, a strong cold front will turn the winds to the north, gusting 35 to 55 miles per hour, and lows will drop into the upper 30s. Tomorrow will be cloudy and cold with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s, north winds blowing 20 to 40 miles per hour. A light rain and snow mix is possible later in the afternoon and evening with less than 1/10 of an inch of moisture. A freeze watch will be in place overnight and Saturday morning with lows of 20s, possibly damaging crops and sensitive vegetation greening up 2 to 4 weeks earlier than normal due to a warm March and early April. Saturday remains cool with highs in the upper 50s and lows again below freezing. This meteorologist Chris Romick of the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Here's a bright idea. Streaming without buffering. It's not 2014. There's no reason for laggy internet and buffering shows. IdeaTech has the technology. It's fiber optic cable. IdeaTech has brought high-speed fiber to 75 communities and counting. Don't put up with outdated internet. Streaming without buffering. Another bright idea from IdeaTech. Get fast, modern IdeaTech internet at ideatech.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
The Black and Gold are back, and you can catch the Goodland Cowboys and Cowgirls all season long on Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Join Ross Volkmer for every thrilling play, big moment, and unforgettable highlight.
Swing and a miss, strikeout number 3.
From the first pitch to the final horn, we've got you covered, no matter where you are. Goodland High School Athletics on Rocket 102.5 are brought to you by our great local sponsors.
Cornerstone Orthodontics, Outdoor Bank, M&M Supply, CFS Auctions, Next Tech Wireless, Rains Chiropractic, and Land to Legacy Real Estate.
You ready? Watch out, 3, 5! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
I'm old, I'm white, and I don't understand any of it.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sky is everywhere.
Covering it all, from the preps to the pros.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Pest Away LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, and the Insurance Agency.
Let's go to work. O is driven to center. Going back, Loperfido, it's over his head. It hits the fencing out there. They're going to wave Tovar home. There'll be no throw. Willie Castro unloads to straightaway center. And the Rockies cut the deficit in half. It's 2-1.
The three won't drop. It's picked up by Leonard. Traffic fending him off. Staggers ahead.
Did you see this?
Whoa!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And now Isbell lines it to right field, and that is going to be down for a hit to tie the game. So the Royals get a 2-out RBI from Isbell, and the first walk has come around to score.
It's drumming. Cash money! And exclamation points from the big fella.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. We are back and rolling here on another edition of the Morning Blitz. It's April the 16th. It's a little cooler start to the day. I want to say that. It's a nice start. 43 degrees. Going to be our warmest day, I think, of the later part of the week. Warmest day of the later half of the week. 80 degrees, the expected high today. Going to be a little breezy out of the southwest. And then tomorrow, might have to grab a jacket, might have to put on the long pants tomorrow and Saturday with temperatures only around the temperatures only around, I should say, the mid-50s tomorrow and then in the 60s on Saturday. So going to be a cooler couple of days ahead and maybe a chance of precipitation, possibly. There's a 20% chance Friday night and a 40% chance, 20% chance Friday and a 40% chance Friday night. They're even talking a chance of rains, possibly snow showers, possibly on Friday night. We'll see. I don't know about that, but that's just what the National Weather Service is saying. So do get prepared for that. Don't worry about the cold temps. We will return to the 70s and the 80s starting up on Sunday. So just a little dip in the cool for about a 24 to 48 hour period. And then we'll be back into these nice temperatures. Once again, sunny and 80 your temperature for today. Hope everyone's having a good start to their Thursday. It is the final show of this week. Once again, no show tomorrow here on the Morning Blitz because we will have our NWKS radio auction that is going to be getting underway. And so you'll want to make sure that you are tuned in and ready to listen to the radio auction. Get ready to bid on great items and services in our radio auction. Of course, don't forget, you can you can go to our website, nwksradio.net, to find the auction sale bill right now. It's up there. You can print that off. You can have it texted to you by texting the word auction to our text line. And then if you get all that, and if you're really into it, if you're one of those super radio auction people that really love the radio auction, and we adore you people out there, we thank you for that. You can watch kind of if you go to our website, there is a link to watch the live you can see the auction. I don't know what to call it. I call it kind of the scoreboard in the sports term of things, but it's where you can see what items are currently on the auction and where their current bids sit at a current point in time. And so that is what we are going. So you can go on there and you can take a look. And so make sure you go to nwksradio.net. That's kind of the key. If you go there, you can find the sale bill. You can find the link to that scoreboard. You can find all that stuff tomorrow as we get going with our 2026 edition of our NWKS radio auction. Of course, you can go to the website and find pictures and descriptions of items that are going to be up there, all kinds of services as well, gift cards, great big items, small items, agriculture items, non-ag items. It's a auction for everybody. It's an inclusive radio auction this year with lots of things for all different people. So get your credit cards ready and be prepared for tomorrow's radio auction. That's why we will not be having a show here on the Morning Blitz on Friday. So this is the final show of this week. In this week's final show, we will get to some odds and ends back into the program. We got some things to get to, highlight a little softball, a little baseball, a little other news. We'll touch on the Royals and the Rockies in the back end of the show and which team is in a worse spot. The Royals have lost 5 in a row. The Rockies have lost 6 in a row. It's been which team is in a worse spot? We'll hit on that in segment 3. Our guest today, Jordan Klein, Fort Hays Tech Northwest women's basketball coach. He'll join us in studio, and we'll talk some about the end of the season of year one for him at Fort Hays Tech Northwest, but really wanted to dive into the work that he does over the summertime. He does a lot of stuff away from Fort Hays Tech Northwest, helping out with growing the game of basketball. And so we'll have him coming in here and talking about that coming up here in segment number 2. In our first segment coming up here in just about a moment, we have I found an interesting article from CBS Sports yesterday talking about the Big 12 football season that lies ahead in 2026. And the Big 12 football's Sheenan Jarrara, he went out and made for all 16 teams, he made bold predictions for all 16 teams. So what were the bold predictions for Colorado, Kansas, and Kansas State, according to CBS, and some thoughts on that here as we are just pretty much making our way towards the end of spring ball for a lot of these teams. Some spring ball is over, and we're into the summer conditioning and all that stuff, while others were wrapping up spring ball as we look ahead to the 2026 college football season. FNB Bank text line is back open and running. If you'd like to be part of the Blitz, we'd love to hear from you. 785-899-2222. Apologize for last cover 2 days ago where we didn't have the text line. It was going through some issues with logging in and logging out, but we have got that all fixed. And so FB Bank text line is open, 785-899-2222. If you've got questions, comments, thoughts, all kinds of stuff like that. All right. So getting in here, I want to dive into this article. So yesterday I was looking through and I saw this article once again. It was from on CBS Sports where they had the Big 12 bold predictions. So looking at the Big 12 bold predictions ahead of the 2026 season. And they had one for every single team, and they didn't go into extreme depth. Lots of stuff like that. It's not like it was anything like completely nuts, to say the very least. But just kind of looking at some of the things, and you read like here's an example. They talk about Baylor, who by the way has quarterback DJ Lagway, the transfer from Florida. He makes the prediction that he's going to near 4,000 passing yards. Like I said, these are some pretty ridiculous. Some of these are pretty out there when it comes to predictions. Some of them, not so much. We'll start with Colorado. I feel like it was an interesting one, and I don't feel like it's that far off for Colorado when it comes to their football program and a prediction for 2026. But according to CBS Sports in this article, they think their big prediction for this upcoming season for Colorado is that they believe it's going to be Coach Deion Sanders or Coach Prime's final season there at Colorado. Says Deion Sanders is responsible for the most electric moments at Colorado in the 21st century. He also just posted the second worst season since 2014, a 3-9 disaster with a 1-8 mark in conference play. This year, the Buffaloes face 2 Power 4 opponents on the road in non-conference play with a roster still featuring many question marks. Coach Prime managed to put his stamp on college football there, but there's not much left to accomplish in Boulder. Here's the thing. Could I see Coach Prime hanging it up and saying, I'm done after this year? Yes, I could see that. Particularly if they have another bad year. I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think Colorado is in any position to fire Coach Prime at this point in time. They don't have the money to back that up. They're already really struggling with money situations there at CU. And so I don't think they have the money to fire him and pay him the money that he is owed in left over in his contract. They don't have the cash for that. They don't have the coin for that. So he's there as long as he wants to be there. But they didn't say in this article saying that he would be fired. They just said it could be his final season, which I could possibly see with all the health issues that Coach Prime has gone through these last few years and through the last decade. I could see it where he's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to put up with this anymore. He's not coaching any of his sons anymore. They ran out of eligibility. He's trying to put together a team, and it's kind of like a little bit. I'm not going to say exactly, but it's kind of like Jerome Tang at Kansas State a little bit. Every year is kind of a new thing. We're going to start over and completely rebuild. And unfortunately, where some teams do this and it kind of works a little bit, it hasn't worked for Coach Prime that much yet. Now, maybe he's got, maybe juju Juju Lewis is going to come on and become a really good quarterback in his second year. Things won't be as fast for him, but otherwise, it's hard to kind of go through and look at. I was actually doing this a little bit because this is the funny thing. I don't think I like it very much, but I was looking at depth charts last night, kind of getting prepared for this segment a little bit, and I was just kind of seeing like who's coming back and who is transferring in. And if you looked at, let's just say if you look at Colorado, I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of transfer pieces that are coming in this year. In fact, on the defensive side, every single starter on the defensive side of the football for Colorado is a transfer portal player. There's not a single returner on that defense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there should have been a returner because that was a bad defense last year. Still, though, you are hoping that 11 guys come together to play as one to win some football games in a very difficult schedule this year. A very difficult schedule. This year they've got they've got games against Georgia Tech, which I think is a neutral site game. They've got that was one of those games. They got let's see who else they got this year. I mean, they've got to go to West Virginia, to Kansas State. They've got BYU at home. They've got some tough games for sure. Some tough games for sure to deal with. But nonetheless, I look at this team and I'm like, you've got a completely new team, and you're hoping and praying that pretty much it all comes together. I mean, Juju Lewis is about the only piece. Zach Atkins, the tight end, and a couple offensive linemen. Joseph Williams, wide receiver. Those are about the only guys that are back from last year's team. Otherwise, everybody else is a brand new piece. And when you're bringing in this many new transfers, I mean, it's going to be, you're hoping, once again, you're rolling the dice, hoping you're going to get 7. You're hoping you're going to land on black or whatever. You're just hoping on that because you just don't know if these guys are going to come to play together. So I could see where for Coach Prime is like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm not sitting here saying that prediction is far off, because if it's a bad year in his health, he's like, I'm good. But I don't think, as long as Coach Prime wants to be there for the next few years at Colorado, I think he's going to get it, because I don't think they have the money and the financial backing to fire him at this point in time. So that was the first prediction for Colorado on this CBS Sports article. Let's move into Kansas, where I don't think a lot of people know what to expect at Kansas. First and foremost, they're coming off a couple of up and down, a tough year 2 years ago, a better year this previous year, but still not great for Coach Lance Leipold. And that was with Jalen Daniels, at quarterback. And then this year they've got a brand new quarterback, whoever that may be, for Kansas at this point in time. No idea who it's going to possibly be for Kansas this year. That's a quarterback battle. Of course, Cole Ballard is in the mix, but you also have Isaiah Marshall. But the prediction was here on the CBS Sports article, talking Big 12 football predictions way ahead of the season, is that wide receiver Cam Pickett would be a 1,000-yard receiver. And that would be the first 1,000-yard receiver since 2009. And I kind of chuckle because that prediction to me seems really far-fetched. I mean, they're talking about bold. I mean, that is bold. I would almost feel better about Dylan Edwards having a bounce-back year at Kansas more than Cam Pickett being a 1,000-yard receiver with a quarterback that we don't know is going to be able to get him the football at that kind of consistent rate. Now, Andy Koltanecki is back. See, not that this would be a ridiculously bold prediction, but I would say that the Kansas offense takes a massive step forward with Andy Koltanecki in some form of fashion, but I don't know if it comes in the form of a 1,000-yard receiver. Koltanecki and the way Leipold and those guys did things when they were at Kansas initially, it was a lot of, good running plays with the running back and the quarterback. They were very good about getting guys in space in the run game and letting them use their speed. I would make some sort of prediction around the fact that Dylan Edwards, who I know is a sour subject to our fans in purple here in this state, I feel like he's going to come out, and I think he's going to have if he can be there mentally, I think he'd go out and he really thrive in this offense. Whereas Kansas State, I've always felt, is more of a physical football team, run between the tackles. The Kansas rushing attack with Koltanecki was more about getting playmakers in space and letting them use their athleticism to do that. And I think we're going to see Dylan Edwards, once again, if he can do that, be in a really good spot. Now, there are some other transfers in the running back room. You've got Yassine Willis out of Syracuse, and as well as Jalen Dupree out of Colorado State. Those guys, maybe they're the guys that maybe take off. But let's just say Dylan Edwards. I think that'd be my prediction for the year. We're going to see Dylan Edwards have a massive bounce back season at Kansas because I think the system maybe fits him a little bit better. If once again he can be, what's the word I'm looking for here, in the right mental state at this point in time for Dylan Edwards. But according to once again this CBS Sports article, they think Cam Pickett could be a 1,000-yard receiver. Something hasn't happened since 2009. I just think when I think of Koltanecki and Leipold, I think of running the football more than getting a 1,000-yard receiver at this point in time. That's kind of my gut reaction on that. Let's see here. Michael Bowles. Michael saying, expect a home playoff game. Go Hawks. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. That's good. Expect a home playoff game. And then let's see here. We will get to that a little bit later on. We have another edition. Thank you for that, texter. Another edition of Dear Ross coming up here. Let's see. Officer Jared with some thoughts on. He says, no, Dylan Edwards is a bust. I'll put money on it. Okay, that's fine. And he could be a bust, Jared. I'm not sitting here disagreeing with that. But if I'm making bold predictions, I could see the fact where I could see him bouncing back and having a big time year there at Kansas, just based upon what they have. Once again, if he can be mentally in the right state of mind. And then the final bold prediction. So Kansas, once again, 1,000-yard receiver for Colorado. It was that Coach Prime could be in his final season there at Colorado. But then for Kansas State, and I feel like this prediction here is not very bold. But Avery Johnson and Colin Klein are a match made in heaven. That is the bold prediction, which I chuckle at because it's not. The comments on this is that first-year coach Colin Klein was one of Johnson's primary recruiters out of high school before he left for the offensive coordinator job at Texas A&M. After a disappointing season for Johnson, Klein will be a godsend for his development. Johnson failed to clear 60% completion each of his first 3 seasons, but Klein will help show Johnson how to use his legs to create opportunities for his arm. That is not a bold prediction. That is what just has to happen and what will probably happen. It's what should have been happening last year for Kansas State. Avery Johnson is a phenomenal athlete, and when you try to take phenomenal athletes and turn them into passers, pocket passers, it does not work. You have to let athletes be athletes, and that's what I'm thinking Colin Klein is going to do. Now, will he help him in possibly upping his completion percentage? Yeah, I do think there is a chance of that. I do think there's a chance of him upping the percentage. He's going to need some more help. You know, they bring in Josh Manning and also bringing in as well Isaiah Williams, a transfer from Texas A&M. Hopefully that kind of SEC speed on the outside will help because they need more of that. They need more playmakers on the perimeter to help with that passing game. They need more of it. I think the offensive line will be fine. They've got Joe Jackson, who's a good physical runner. And if they unlock Avery Johnson and say, just go be you, they're going to find more success than they did all of last year. I think it's pretty simple. Defensively, they're doing a lot of retooling. They're bringing in, 7 new guys on the defensive side of the ball through the transfer portal. So it's kind of a rebuild there on the defensive side. But I think offensively, you do have a great quarterback, and he is matched up great with Colin Klein. And I do think they're going to find success. And I think they're going to do it more from the fact that, yes, they're going to unlock him. But it's not a bold prediction to say that those two are a match made in heaven. They are obviously a match made in heaven. The question is, what can you do in Avery Johnson's senior year, which it's hard to believe it's his senior year already. What can you do to get the most out of him this senior year? And I think, once again, if you unlock his legs, that will lead him to being more successful in the passing game, to me personally. That's what I think we're going to see here coming up this season for Kansas State. I mean, I think okay, if I took K-State, if I took Avery Johnson and I put him in the spot of Marcel Reed, I mean, they're kind of the same type of quarterback. Scrawny guys, athletic guys, can run, can pass. They're not terrible passers. They're both solid passers. I just think you're going to in Kansas State's, the thing about K-State in the previous years has been more of a physical style. And I'm not saying that they're not going to be physical, because I think they will. But I think if you add in the elements of more of this, of what we saw at Texas A&M, with some spread concepts, you're going to be able to get some playmakers in space to use their legs. And I think we'll see that with Colin Klein and Avery Johnson. So bold prediction there once again from for this. I was like, bold. That's a real bold prediction there from CBS Sports. Once again, that Avery Johnson and Colin Klein are a match made in heaven. Yeah, I think they are. They're a perfect match made in heaven. And that's not a bold statement. It'd be more bold to say Avery Johnson and Colin Klein will not make it work in their only season together. That would be a bold statement. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they are going to find the success. We'll just have to see when we get later on down the road, we get more summertime deal looking at the schedule. How does the schedule lay out? How does your team develop over the course of the year? But right on paper, as we sit here today, they've added athleticism on the outside. They already have a really good backfield. The offensive line is pretty good. They have a quarterback that's got tons of experience under his belt. They should be ready to rock and roll coming up here this season on the offensive side. Defensively, can they get some stops? We'll see. But will be fascinating to find out. But those are the bold predictions there for K-State. So once again, in recapping, Kansas State, Avery Johnson and Colin Klein are a match made in heaven. Cam Pickett of Kansas will be a 1,000-yard receiver. And for Colorado, Coach Prime, it's his final season there at CU, they're saying. There were some other interesting ones too. West Virginia absolutely blitzes. Let's see here. Some of these things they actually talk about how like their prediction is like one of these bottom feeder teams gets a big upset win or something like that is what they say. Let's see here. Like one that I find is that Oklahoma State Drew Mestemaker, the transfer quarterback to Oklahoma State, leads the nation in passing. Which I don't think, as it says it in the first point, it says maybe this isn't much of a bold prediction as he led the nation in passing just last season at North Texas, but you're doing it at a higher level. I don't know. We'll see. That is going to be a fascinating experiment going on down there at Stillwater, because that was a complete gut job and bringing in not only new head coach Eric Morris, but a brand new quarterback. Everybody on that team is brand spanking new. So I'm fascinated to see what that looks like with Oklahoma State. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. So anyway, just thought that was an interesting article talked about that prediction along with DJ Lagway near probably 4,000 pounds. That is a ridiculous one. I did think it was interesting. Arizona State, their wide receiver who was a former Colorado Buffalo, Omarion Miller. Their prediction is that he will lead the Big 12 in receiving yards this year at Arizona State. We'll see. Can Cutter Boley get him the ball? That's the quarterback there at Arizona State. It's so hard. Like I could not imagine trying to be someone trying to come up with these articles and make predictions based upon what you know from last year, because every year is a completely new year in college athletics, pretty much depending upon the sport. But if you want to talk about basketball and football, every year is a brand new spanking year. And you just don't know who's going to be coming, who's going to be showing up, who's going to make it all come together. Maybe you get this great group of talented guys together on paper, but they don't play good together, all that kind of stuff. Austin on Facebook says K-State will beat KU by double digits for 18 straight. And that may be true. That may be true. K-State is definitely on paper, as we look at it right now, a better football team. They just are a better football team. They return more key pieces, and Kansas has got a lot of questions without really knowing what's a quarterback. And I think they could go two different ways, because if you go with one quarterback, you could be more like the Jalen Daniels era where you're running the ball a lot, or you could change that out and go with, Cole Ballard, who I don't think is going to be as mobile, be more of a passing guy. We'll see. It just kind of depends on what direction Andy Koltanecki and Lance Leipold want to go, but be fascinating. But those are some bold predictions for K-State football and KU football, also Colorado football mixed in there as well. Okay, let's get to a break. When we come back, we are going to be hopefully joined. I haven't seen him yet, but hopefully he'll be coming in here soon. Jordan Klein, Fort Hays Tech Northwest women's basketball coach. He'll join us next. And then we will continue. We got some odds and ends to get to later on in the program, too, as it's our final show of this week, as the radio auction is tomorrow. Keep it here, listening to the Morning Blitz.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price.
No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Hayden with the Andersons for the opening marker for today is April 16th. Currently, May corn is at $4.50.5, down 3/4. July corn is at $4.60 even, down 1/2. September corn is at $4.63.5, unchanged. Kansas City wheat for May is at $6.39 3/4, up 14 1/4. July Kansas City wheat is at $6.52 1/4, up 13 3/4. September wheat is at $6.64 3/4, up 13 1/4. Soybeans for May are $11.65 1/4, down 1 3/4. July soybeans are at $11.82, down 1 1/4. In August, soybeans are at $11.75 3/4, down 3/4. The S&P is up 0.1%, so up 55 points. Dow 30 is down 72 points. The Nasdaq is up 376 points. And gold is down 36 points. If you have any cash grain to move or interested in our freedom pricing tools, give myself, Jared Law, Tom Saludo, or Tyler Gosha a call at 913-748-3000. If you have any needs in Colorado, call John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Thank you.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Farmers looking to boost crop performance and improve your profitability? Thiosulfates can help you do both. With Thiosol and KTS, you can create custom blends that allow you to extend your UAN supply while providing essential sulfur to your crop. Thiosulfates also protect your nitrogen investment by reducing losses through both nitrate leaching and denitrification, keeping more nitrogen available for your corn. Protect your nitrogen investment and increase yields with KTS and Thiosol. Call your local ag dealer today or visit TessenderLocurley.com.
Foley Rental is your locally owned equipment rental store for commercial, industrial, farm, and residential projects with a large fleet of aerial lifts, telehandlers, generators, trench shoring, and temperature control equipment, plus cat skid steers, excavators, loaders, and attachments, all inspected and maintained by over 500 certified technicians, so you stay safe and on schedule. Foley Rental, committed to you from the ground up. Call 855-RENT-FOLEY or visit FoleyRental.com.
At Eklund Insurance, they understand your unique needs. Whether you're a farmer protecting your farm and ranch, or you need commercial or personal insurance for your home, health, or auto, the team at Eklund Insurance has you covered. Their consultative approach ensures you get the best advice tailored to your situation. They shop around for the best insurance products, so you don't have to. Eklund Insurance, your trusted partner in comprehensive coverage. Stop by today to talk to one of their agents at 1628 Caldwell Avenue in Goodland.
We need reliability with a personal touch. Call Miller Construction Services, LLC. With over 40 years of hands-on experience, this family-owned and operated company is your trusted construction leader across Northwest Kansas, Northeast Colorado, and Southwest Nebraska. Licensed, bonded, and proud to be a Chief Buildings Independent Authorized Builder, Miller Construction builds durable storage facilities, warehouses, municipal projects, and more. Be sure and visit MillerCS.com. That's MillerCS.com, and let's build your future together with Miller's Construction Service, LLC.
You're listening to the High Plains only local sports talk show.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The Morning Blitz.
All right, continuing here on a Thursday show. Once again, our final show of the week due to our radio auction coming up tomorrow, all day tomorrow. Doesn't matter tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be there all day. So make sure you tune in to your favorite NWKS radio station and be ready to bid on some great items and services with this year's radio auction. Looks like as if Coach Klein's not going to make it in today. I've not heard anything from him or not seen him yet. So I guess we're going to push on here on the Morning Blitz. That's just what happens from time to time. So pushing on, though, we'll get to Dear Ross here in just a moment. Do want to get to some we'll see. If you Coach just texted me, I guess if you can be here in 10, Coach, we'll make it work. Yeah, so hustle. But nonetheless, news out of basketball world yesterday. Kansas basketball, I shouldn't say this was actually this morning, I saw it was official that they have landed a transfer. Kansas basketball has landed a transfer. Utah transfer. Is it Terrence? No, Keanu. Is it Keanu Brown? Is that how you say his name? I want to make sure I get this right. I'm pretty sure I saw this morning. I think I might have had it. Keanu Dawes. Keanu Dawes is who they got this. Who they landed this morning. The transfer from from Utah is going to Kansas. He was a forward last year for Utah. I think he's going to be just a senior this year. Averaged 12.5 points, 9 rebounds, 2.2 assists. I could be mistaken, but I thought he was probably their best player last year. Their best player was Keanu Dawes for Utah. So Kansas getting kind of their first big name out of the portal. Keanu Dawes, the transfer from Utah. I saw that news here this morning. I want to get to a quick question here, and then we'll also get a little Dear Ross in before Coach Klein can get in here. If he can, we'll see. But as we, the Royals and the Rockies both lost yesterday. The Rockies falling 3-1 to the Astros, and the Royals again with another 2-1 loss to the Tigers. And so you have the Royals now sitting at 7-11 overall. The Rockies at 6-12. Both teams are fourth in their respective divisions, but it's very similar looking seasons here through the first, 17, 18 games of the year. Very early. Got a long, long way to go. But the question I have is, who's in a worse spot right now? Right now, who is in a worse spot? And we're talking just in the season. I don't want to talk, because Colorado obviously is in a worse spot when you talk about, roster and farm system and all that stuff. You want to talk about, they're in a worse spot, from the top down, they're in a worse spot. But as we sit here right now, based upon what we knew going into the season, who's in a worse spot, Colorado or Kansas City? That is the question. If you want to hit us up on the EpiBank text line, 785-899-2222. Brian, sell the team yet? No. Here's the thing. I honestly think the Rockies are in a slightly better spot than the Royals. Based upon what we thought going into this season, they're in just a slightly better spot right now as we sit here today on April 16th. The Rockies are in a little bit better spot. We talked about it with Christian Science last week. It took until June for the Rockies to win their first series last year. Till June. Guess what? They got it done in their second series of the year. And then in their fourth series of the year, they swept the Astros. So they won 2 out of their first 4 series. Now, hence, since they have gone on now a 6-game slide and have lost at the Padres and the Astros, and they try to avoid a sweep here tonight against Houston. So yes, it's not great. But based upon what we knew going into the season, where they made just a few minor moves, didn't make anything too drastic, but they showed a pulse. It is showing like the Rockies are, and then so they're in a better spot than where maybe we thought they were going to be when the season began. I mean, I didn't think we'd see a big jump or improvement. So I don't know. I feel like that's the way it's going to be. Let's see here. EpiBank text tank blowing up here. Let's see here. Brian jumping in. He says, they do have a new investment partner. So maybe they took advice and sold part of the team. That is kind of true, Brian. Let's see what else we got here. Officer Jared, I think the Rockies are in a better spot with the addition of the Broncos ownership stepping in as well. There we go. There is true. They will not put up with mediocre play. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that the Rockies are in a better spot right now. Just currently right now, just based on, because the Royals, I think going in, people thought, including your show, they had a chance to vie for a playoff spot, and they still do. There's plenty of runway to get this thing back on track. But the Royals have just looked bad. I mean, bad. We talked about it. I mean, multiple guys hitting underneath 200 that are in the starting lineup for Kansas City. Vinny Pasquantino being one of them. He can't hit anything. And so they've got all that. Their pitching is out there just being shut down. I mean, allowing minuscule runs to the opposition, but they cannot score to save their life. And based upon kind of expectations going into the season and the way that things were looking for Kansas City, particularly with the World Baseball Classic, with how Pasquantino and Caglione and those guys, and of course, Michael Garcia were all playing, you thought, geez, the Royals are going to pick right up here and just take off. And it has not happened. It has not happened at all. And so, yeah, that was, I guess when I look at it, I'm like, who is in a worse spot, the Rockies or the Royals? I'm going to take the Royals as we sit here right down April 16th. Now, that can change here in a couple of days, but I think the Royals are in a much worse spot. You have the pieces to be contending for your division, and you're not even close to it. If you're the Rockies, you don't have the pieces to contend for your division, but no one does. You don't even have, but you really have the pieces to contend for a playoff spot or a wild card spot. You don't have that. But they've shown that they can win a few games. They are showing that they are better than they were last year. The Royals, they're looking like they're the same exact team as they were last year. Competitive in pretty much every game, but can't win. And once again, can't score runs. Offensively, just horrific. So I don't know. I think the Royals are actually in a worse spot right now as we sit here today on April 16th. I think just as you go by on the field stuff, the Royals are in a worse spot than the Rockies as we sit here today. FB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. Let's get to a couple more text lines here. We'll get to Dear Ross in just a second. We do have a Dear Ross coming up. But Kyle, this is going back to our talk on K-State football. He says, K-State needs more NIL money. Otherwise, Texas Tech will run the Big 12 in football. Yeah, I mean, everybody needs more NIL money. Here's the thing, Kyle. You can have a ton of NIL money, and you can put together these massive all-star rosters, and yes, you can have success. It can also blow up in your face too, Kyle. Once you need to be, I would much rather have a coach that is a ultimate talent evaluator, has a system, knows what it takes to do his system or his or her system, and then knows the pieces and gets the right pieces. And maybe, it's a guy that knows how to look at guys and say, hey, you know what? This guy's only playing Division II football, but I think he could really be good. We should go after this guy. This guy was only playing at, roast beef state, but I think this guy could be really, really good. Let's go get him and put him in a position. This guy was really good at this spot, but I tell you, if we could talk to him and convince him, I think if he could switch to this spot, he could be an NFL player and develop these guys. If you could be like Indiana, for example, if you can do that, I'd much rather have a coach that knows what he wants, what he's looking for, and how to do it than just a whole pot of money going out and grabbing the best players, hoping that they all play together. That doesn't always work. Jared H. with a prediction on the Morning Blitz. We're talking bold prediction segment 1. He says, bold prediction, Colin Klein helps lead Avery Johnson to a Heisman Trophy. That would be a very bold prediction, Jared. Yes, it would be a very bold prediction. But I don't think it's I mean, there are dumber things to be said. If they come and they strike gold with Colin Klein and Avery Johnson coming together and that offense goes off. Now, K-State's going to have to win 10-plus games to get that done. I don't know if that's in the cards this year. Maybe. With that baby nuts. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that, Jared. That's an interesting point. Before we get to a break, we do have, it looks like here, another Dear Ross coming out. So get to Dear Ross. Listener chimes in and says, Dear Ross, with this being most likely the last season for Avery Johnson at the helm for K-State, do you think he enters the draft? And if so, how do you think his draft stock looks? For me, I don't think it looks too great, but maybe he can bounce back this year. Well, I believe I'm going to double check this. I'll make sure I get this right. Because I just looked at something and I thought he said he was a senior as Avery Johnson. Is he a senior this year or is he going to be just a junior this year? I guess he could just be a junior. So we'll just play the cards that he is I'm trying to see. Is he a junior or a senior this year? I think he's a senior. He's going to be a senior this year. So he's a senior. So I think his eligibility is over with here, Texter. So I think he has to probably go to unless he's going to apply for another year or this 5 for 5 gets in and there's a clause that says this is allowed. I don't know. We'll see if that's the case. I doubt it. But back to the texter here. I would say his draft stock is not great. He's particularly at quarterback. He's a great athlete, but he's not a polished enough passer, at least these past few years. So I don't think it's a great looking for his draft stock personally. In fact, I think if he was in the NFL draft for some reason, he wanted to leave early. I don't even know if he'd get drafted this year. So he's going to have take major steps of improvement to get to the NFL draft, to be a draft pick next year, I think. I don't think he'd get drafted this year if he left early, and he's going to have to take some major steps this next year in order to get that done. So thank you, though. Appreciate that, texter. Another addition to Dear Ross. Well, Avery Johnson, how will his draft stock look? I don't think he has a draft stock as of right now, and I don't think unless he just has some major improvements, he will have much of one next year either. We'll see. That's what Colin Klein's brought in to hopefully do that for him. Okay, let's get to break. Coach Jordan Klein is going to join us. He has decided to join us a little bit later than scheduled. He'll join us next to wrap up the show here in the Morning Blitz.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
At F&B Bank, we believe local businesses are the heart of our community. That's why we're more than just your bank. We're your neighbor, your customer, and your biggest supporter. From the corner cafe to the hardware store downtown, we're walking the same streets, shopping the same shops, and investing in the same future, yours. We're here, we're local, and we're always in your corner. F&B Bank, banking built on community, member FDIC.
Let's face it, many of us plan our vacations down to the hour, the activities, the food we want, and the people we'll see. So why not save our family the grief and stress when we leave this world? Why not inquire about rearranging our funeral and celebration of life? Call Coons Russell Funeral Home in Goodland for their assistance. They've made it so much easier on families in times of stress. Call or visit CoonsRussellFuneralHome.com.
With 9 locations across Northwest Kansas, the High Plains Co-op continues to stand with you, giving you the service you need and deserve. They're here for all of your grain, feed, and fuel needs, as well as helping you manage the marketing and crop insurance sector with their HPC risk management program. Visit them online at high-plainscoop.com to get the latest markets, ag news, and information, or call them today at 785-462-3351. That's 462-3351. Continuing to stand with you is the High Plains Co-op.
Got your tax refund? Don't blow it. Upgrade it at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Get into a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $7,000 in rebates or 2.9% for 48 months. Or into a 26 GMC Sierra 2500, $1,000 rebate or 4.9% for 48 months. And the 26 GMC Acadia 2.9% APR plus $750 in rebates with GM Financial. Your refund won't last, but a new GMC will. Stop by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or visit hurlchev.com.
Want to be part of the Morning Blitz?
Sometime I'll give you a piece of my mind, like right now.
Send your thoughts to the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222.
All right, we're up here on a Morning Blitz. We just got a few minutes left to go on the show today. It's kind of been a little bit of a scramble, but that's all right. Jordan Klein getting his vocal cords warmed up. He's ready to rock and roll. He comes in with a... You know what I love about you is you have a movie quote for everything, and I can relate with that, my friend. I love that about it. It's awesome.
Yes.
Pull that microphone up closer to you. Get up. It moves. There you go.
We go.
There you go. Better. So, yeah, He comes in like, how now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
Unique New York. Unique New York.
Oh man,
ready to go.
We could talk about all these different, all those movie quotes for days. Can we do a whole segment just everything is in a movie quote? That'd be quite a challenge.
Yep.
I want to talk about for Jordan Klein, of course, 42nd Northwest women's basketball coach, coming off his first year, finishing up, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But real reason I wanted to have you in today is I want to talk about your work that you do over the course of the summer months, which you're kind of going around traveling. You help out with, I forget what it's kind of called, but you help out with like USA basketball or something along those lines. Kind of give us your thoughts on what your summer schedule is like and what is it like kind of going around and helping grow the game of basketball and teach the game of basketball outside of your own job here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do a fair amount of work with camps across the country. I've been fortunate to do USA basketball gold camps. We'll see if that continues. High school coaches typically get priority with that, but I'm still connected with the director and able to speak at some different camps. We also work with Breakthrough Basketball, which is they do over 400 camps every summer all over the country. So I get to lead some of those as well. So I think it's fun. I've had really good people in my corner teach me, and I've learned that the best coaches are the best teachers. And so it's fun to, while earning a little bit of extra coin, going out and coaching some camps and giving back to kids. It's really fun on the youth level to see a kid that as simple as just couldn't cross over and finish with their left hand after 3 days of a camp be able to do that. So I appreciate the development side of it too.
I mean, how many of those do you kind of do throughout the course, or what is kind of on your schedule for this summer when it comes to evolve that stuff? Or is that kind of in the rearview mirror already?
It's a little bit in the rearview mirror. I have 2 camps scheduled right now to be in Omaha, and then I'll have one in Iowa when I go back. That Snow Valley camp. Snow Valley is special. That's the nation's largest overnight camp. There's 1,500 kids that come to that camp. It's at Wartburg College in northern Iowa. It's a beautiful Division III campus. So I'll get to be there for about 8 days or so. And then we still have, as far as basketball here, we have 2 spots that we're looking to fill. So I'll still be on the recruiting trail, and then it never ends. You continue on to the 27 class, and you're going to tournaments all over the place.
No, absolutely. What has recruiting been like thus far for you? How has that gone?
It has been phenomenal. I'm really excited. We have 4 top 30 kids coming to play for us between Kansas, Colorado, and Nebraska. We have a 6A state champion coming to play for us, 6A Final Four runner-up. It'll be special.
I mean, what has it been like kind of transition from being the assistant to now the head coach when it comes to recruiting? Is there any differences at all, if any?
You have to ask the difficult questions of looking a kid in the face and saying, can you see yourself playing for me? Are you ready to commit? I could do the relationships and get everything warmed up and talk to parents. But answering some of those more difficult questions of what reservations may you have, because it's so much about trust more than anything else, especially at our level.
No. When you look back at last year, Jordan Klein, our guest here in studio, when you look back at this last season, no, it wasn't the season anybody won, including yourself, but what did you learn about yourself as a coach going through a season like that, where you struggled to find the win column?
You can learn a lot from that. I learned, I knew about the Jayhawk Conference. I'd recruited it before. I've watched games. I learned about how physical the league is. So matching that, I always think it's good to have something unique about your play style when you're going into league play and not just match everything apples for apples. So I think I learned a lot about growth and development instead of focusing so much on W's. Like, I know I've talked to you before about we focused on like improving as compared to what the scoreboard looks like, and that has never been in my nature as a human in my life. But we had to move the goalpost a little bit. So doing what it takes to keep a team together was really important. I know our culture was still strong. After our last game at Seward in the conference tournament, we had players crying, saying they were thankful to be here, that they made the right decision. And in the back of my mind, I'm looking at the record saying, what are you thankful for? because I'm just a competitive person.
Right,
I want to
I get
win.
it.
Where we get in this business to win games. I shouldn't say that. You get to keep your job based on winning and losing games. So that's really important. But the culture that we had was great. Really good foundation. So I'm excited to carry that over to next year with talent.
What were a couple of areas that you saw that improvement? You talked about, sometimes it's hard to see that improvement when you don't see the win-loss column. But what were a couple areas you really liked the improvement of your players?
Fati Fall is a really good example for us. She was our 6'2" center. She needed some work with her feet and finishing, and we did a lot of that throughout the season. And really fortunate and blessed, she's going to Wagner University in New York, signed a Division I scholarship. And we have a couple players that are looking at the NAI or Division II level, and they didn't have that after their freshman year at their previous junior colleges. So I still, at the junior college level, I tell my players that it's my job to recruit you, but it's also my job to get you recruited, and to have 3 people going on to continue playing at the 4-year level based on the results of the season as far as the win-loss column. I'm really proud of that.
We're up against the clock. We got to get out of here, but I really do appreciate you coming in a little bit late. You were great, though. Thank you, though.
I appreciate it. No problem. We'll do it again.
Well, Wes, we'll do it again sometime. Go home and get some sleep. All right.
All right.
Looks like you could use a little bit of rest, my friend.
I
So
appreciate
Jordan Klein, Fort Hays Tech Northwest women's basketball coach. Let's get to the walk-off here and get out of here.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on in New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
A couple of things here to get to in the walk-off. Fort Hays Tech Northwest softball lost 2 games yesterday to Garden City. They lost both those games. They've now lost 36 consecutive. They're 1-41 on the season. Colby Community College softball in action at Hutch today for a doubleheader. That's a battle of 2 of the top 3 teams in the Jayhawk standings. So if you're looking for, it's a big series for the fact if you're trying to win the league, you got to get these wins if you're Colby Community College. Also today, Colby High School baseball going to Burlington for a single 7-inning game. And Colby Community College baseball on the road at Garden City Community College for a doubleheader here today as well. And speaking of Colby Community College, congratulations to Mario Petty, named the Jayhawk Conference Men's Outdoor Field Athlete of the Week, as he had the 5th best hammer throw in program history, 43.04 meters this last time out. Once again, folks, no show tomorrow as we have our End of Big Chaos radio auction. I invite you to join in and tune in and be a part of the radio auction in some form or fashion tomorrow. And we'll be back on Monday with another week of the Morning Blitz. And it's a new era of the Morning Blitz, as we'll be joined by Garrett Welbrock, our new co-host. That'll do it for me today. Have a great rest of your week. We will see you on Monday here on the Morning Blitz.
Rocket 102.5 KL.